Welcome to another episode of Piccadilly Talks. My name is Angelique Vertier. I'm your host. Today, we'll be having a conversation with Dr. Sheldon Campbell, and we'll be talking about future careers, different types of artificial intelligence applications. Dr. Campbell, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to have this conversation. Now, I feel like AI has just come in vogue over the past 5 years. But the truth is, artificial intelligence exploration had its origins in the 80s, or even before then. So, Dr. Campbell, to now be what we would describe as an AI enthusiast, how did you first and when get into AI?
I mean, I would say that I've always been a tech person. Certainly, one of the things that fascinated me was when I saw ChatGPT. I mean, before many of you, and I'm sure many of you, you use Netflix, and you watch a kung fu movie on Netflix, and next thing you know, the next time you go on Netflix, what you see? Whole heap of kung fu shows, right? Because it's personalizing your experience.
And that was AI. That's AI at work.
That's AI. So I mean, those of you who have Alexa at home, that's AI. So
Siri.
AI, yes. So the point is, AI has been with us for many, many years. But I think one of the things that really has kind of revolutionized the space, I think over maybe the past year and a half, is ChatGPT, just because of the kind of capabilities it has.
Yes.
And I think that made me do a kind of switch from my regular work as a business consultant to doing more AI consulting, because I was just like, no, this seems to be the way of the future, and that's actually what I'm talking about today. So that's pretty cool.
Well, it is. It's like the now, and then we're so excited about, and fearful a little bit about what it will become. And we want to delve into different disciplines, different fields, and get an understanding of how artificial intelligence might impact it. And I don't think there's a negative impact, except maybe there's an unknown impact. That's how I like to look at it. There's an impact that we're ignorant to that causes some fear.
Right.
Yes, and the more knowledge we have, which is what we hope to share today with our viewers, is the more comfortable we will be.
Right.
In our Jamaican context, I think one of the spaces that are very interesting and applicable is the creative industries.
Right.
And all over the world, creatives are concerned about ethics and originality, copyright and ownership as it concerns artificial intelligence in the creative industries.
Right.
Let's start with music.
Yes.
Because we are the country that gave the world 5 different genres of music.
Okay.
How do you think, what are your views, your thoughts about how artificial intelligence might play a part in that space, how it is playing a part, what we need to look out for, what could happen?
All right. I mean, to be honest, right now, as basic as artificial intelligence is, it is a threat to musicians.
First of all, you said it's not you call it basic?
It's basic because...
so there's much more.
It's going to be, it's getting better. I mean, every month, we're just seeing more and more advancements in terms of AI. So to be honest, I don't know what AI is going to be able to do by the time we're even at the end of this year. But what I can say to you, for instance, right now, I don't know if you've ever heard of Suno AI. Suno AI is a text-to-music kind of platform. I mean, you have many platforms now which you can actually, AI will create music for you, and when you listen to it, it is definitely better than your average Joe.
Dr. Campbell,
and that's music.
I think you're using fighting words. Like better, like a threat to musicians, and you're saying that with all of your chest.
I'm okay. So we're talking about creatives.
Yes.
A few months ago, and many of you know, Tyler Perry was going to spend US $800 million to create a state-of-the-art studio. It saw OpenAI's Sora AI, which is a text, again, to video capability.
Text to music.
Well, this one is video.
Okay, text to video.
And
yes.
the moment it saw that, and it wasn't even anything, I think it probably was just a 15-second or 30-second demonstration. And he was like, there's no way. Because, I mean, right now, text to video, 1080, 15 seconds.
Tell me what that means in
what
life.
That means.
It means the app is going to create the video content?
Yes.
From text instruction?
Yes. If any of you who follow my YouTube channel, you see me in real time, I put in a prompt, and within a minute after it's done its rendering, whatever, I have a video right in front of me.
So let's stick to the cultural context. So if I say I want to create a 5-part series with video for Anansi stories, I have 5 Anansi stories, and I'm interested in cultural retention because we want to keep it positive here because you make me nervous, Dr. Campbell.
Okay, no problem.
So let's do cultural retention.
Okay.
Anansi stories. I have my 5 Anansi stories. Right. I have the text for the Anansi stories, but I want video because I want, you know, my little niece or nephew to learn their culture. Okay. And I know that video engages them.
Right.
So I can tell Sora to make it age appropriate. So I tell them the age. This is the age group that I want to watch it. My objective is that they learn their culture.
Right.
And this is the text. I describe Anansi as well.
Right.
I describe how I want the scenes to look. I tell it to include a ackee tree and the cotton tree. And because, you know, that's the background. Because, right. You know, it's Anansi and him, they do enough things with cotton tree and so. And then I put in the text of the story.
Right.
You are telling me that with a few tweaks, it will produce the video content that I want.
All right. So right now,
copyright that, by the way.
Right.
It's mine.
So right now, Sora isn't available in terms of public use. However, those who have been using it so far, we've just been seeing them doing a lot of remarkable things. Now, in terms of prompting, a lot of the prompts that we're seeing is simple prompts, and it is creating fantastic, sophisticated things.
Okay,
now,
well, give me an example then, since it's your.
Again, we could say something like, you know, I want to see a 3D car driving to New York or flying and in cyberspace or whatever, and create it. But what I'm saying is, because a lot about AI is prompting, which I see you're getting into, and the context you were giving it and all of that.
Very detailed.
No, the thing is, what we have to recognize is what makes AI valuable is how you train it.
Yes.
So Sora was trained on 1 million YouTube videos, and right now there is some ethics issues that are coming out of that because the CEO of YouTube is saying if it was actually trained on our videos, then that would have been a violation. So that's your ethics there. So right now, I think we're at the place where I think it's because a lot of the ethics and legislation and stuff why we're not seeing a lot of these things being rolled out.
Yes, but what you're saying though is that it's in its baby stages.
Exactly.
And in very short order,
it's coming.
My Anansi videos could happen.
Of course.
Because the source technology is already there.
It's very much there. As a matter of fact, if I use my phone right now and I take pictures of inside here and I ask ChatGPT to explain what is happening, it's going to tell me about the lighting, it's going to explain all of this fancy stuff in here right now. I just did that up to Wednesday for another presentation I was giving.
You inputted
I just took a
photos
into
ChatGPT.
Yeah, I have the paid version.
So it reads the photos and tells you what is happening.
Yes, and as a matter of fact, even if your writing is terrible, as we say in Jamaica, crap toe, it was able to pick up the writing, and it was able to give it a prompt and said, all right, based on this, explain. Perfect.
Let's, because, you know, that's troubling and encouraging, depending on where you sit and how you look at it.
Okay.
To move from video, to move a little bit from, you know, the music as we started to discuss, and go a little further now into language. The people who are the poets, the authors, the dub poets, persons who create, they execute their creative work through writing.
Yes.
You're going to say the same thing that you said at the top of this interview when we talked about the musicians, Dr. Campbell?
It's even better at that. It's better at that. So if you watch my channel, for the fun of it, sometimes I do ask it to take on a certain persona. So act like Miss Lou or act like so and so.
Stop it.
What do you mean?
You tell ChatGPT to act like
yeah,
Miss Lou and it write the poem in the voice of our...
All right, so how this works is, and again, I know I'm being on air, but I am of the impression that OpenAI, who are the guys who founded ChatGPT, I figure they probably trained it on the internet. I think that's what they did.
That's where they gathered their data.
Yeah, I think so. Even though they may not have said it, it's hush-hush, but I think it's the internet. Now, if you think about that then,
every single piece of creative content that has been published on the internet is serving as the data source for GPT.
You answered it.
And so if that is the case, if I can find a Miss Lou poem online, if I can find Claude McKay, if I can find all of them, Mike Carter, if I can find all of my poet greats, Williams, if all of that is available, then I can say in the voice of Martin Carter, rewrite Death of a Slave to reflect the atrocities in Gaza.
Right, and you can even say, do that, and you ask Miss Lou to grade and critique it.
And so Miss Lou is going to look at that, which is a standard English result, and put it into a Jamaican voice using the Jamaican language, and say, I would say it like this.
Yes. So we started with music. I've asked ChatGPT to create music, as in song, write a song for me, and have Peter Tosh grade and critique it.
And it gives you the opinions and the thoughts.
As if it was Peter Tosh.
As if it was Peter Tosh, because Peter Tosh, of blessed memory.
Yes.
The M16 guitar. Anyway, of blessed memory, would have had commentary online, would have had interviews online, and so it's going to draw from those data sources in seconds and produce an opinion based on that intelligence.
Yes. I'm hoping you guys are understanding what I'm saying now.
Okay. We're going to take another example, and then we'll talk about the specific risks and how we can respond to them and prepare for them. Because Dr. Campbell is laughing after all of us creatives, you know, and we don't like it. So we need to resolve that before the end of this conversation. Right. So we've talked about our authors. We've talked about our musicians. Let's try to find a practical field, because there are persons who say, well, I work with my hands. Yes. And so AI will not impact me. One of the things we were mentioning was makeup. Right. You know, how the artist is skilled in blocking and shading, and then very importantly, color matching. Yes. And we mentioned, Dr. Campbell, that all the Pantones in the world and all the skin types in the world have been, I wouldn't say all, but they're available online. Right. If the data source is the internet, and you're trying to match the exact shade of a product that already exists to a face, AI will be able to tell you in the Fenty Beauty line, in the MAC line, for this face, this is the exact shade of foundation. Something that the artist would have probably had to take a few minutes to test, to match. Right.
But the interesting thing is, and again, this is why, you know, even though I've been talking about how helpful AI has been in some respects, I also want to make sure that it's clear that AI will replace certain roles.
That is a fact.
That's a fact.
All right.
However, as it relates to a lot of these kind of complex and creative roles, I think that's where it's going to have a problem. So the repetitive stuff is easier. So if you're thinking about stuff like customer service, administration, even some areas in manufacturing, it's easier. But let's continue down the makeup.
Okay.
When and the reason why we brought up makeup was because you guys did such a wonderful job of putting on.
Because this is Piccadilly Talks, and that is how we do things over here. All right. So yes.
But I realized when she was putting on all of these various things, I said to myself, you know, it's interesting. I've never seen a robot that does makeup. I see robots doing all kind of things, but I've never seen her. And that's the good thing about where we are as a people. I think AI will replace, as I said, the repetitive stuff, but those of us who are doing the more creative aspects, more complex, we need now to see how we can augment AI. So eventually you're going to have AI makeup artists. See where I'm going?
I
AI video guys and AI camera guys and AI lighting guys and all that kind of stuff.
So what does it mean for the people who do makeup, who do video, who do camera? Is it that they now will have AI assistance? Is it that they will use the technology to make themselves even more efficient? Because the AI cannot do the thing, so to speak. Or is that what you're saying? Or is that
That's exactly what I'm saying. However, AI will eventually. It's just that it's not there. So when we, all right, let me give an example because I'm sure you guys would understand this. When we talk about things like a robot or a humanoid, understand it's no different than, in a sense, us, where we are humans, but we have a brain, right?
Yes.
So what is the AI? The AI would be the brain of the robot. Make sense? So if the AI is getting better, eventually the robots or the humanoids are going to get smarter and they're going to be able to do more and more things. So eventually, that robot or that humanoid will be able to do more and more aspects of these kind of creative and complex things. I know that's a little
I follow you.
A little concerning. But where we are now, what I am actually saying is we need to start preparing.
Okay.
So upskilling. So you are a makeup artist, start using AI to help you. You just mentioned how AI was able to tell you certain color schemes. And yes, a matter of fact, I have a little YouTube channel, and sometimes I'm not trying to do some little color thing, and you know I'm a guy and I don't really know all of these fancy color stuff. And I just go into ChatGPT and say, what is the color scheme for this? Because I'm using Canva. Bam! Right away. It gives me the color code and stuff like that, and I'm like, so even with my just little novice, ignorant self trying to understand color schemes and stuff, the AI helped me. So can you imagine now the subject matter expert, which is the makeup artist or the camera guys.
Or a painter. Landscape designer.
That's the thing. So I am saying, listen guys, if you want to retain your jobs, use AI. It doesn't have
It feels so counterintuitive to say that though, because what you're saying is that we're going to embrace the enemy and then they're going to eventually replace me. How do we
embrace the enemy?
That's,
okay. Hold on.
That's how I would feel if you're telling me that eventually this thing that I'm encouraging you to work with will learn from you because it's machine learning.
Yes.
And over time, you are the one giving it even more data willingly.
Yes.
And it will learn.
Yes.
And then it's now housed in a humanoid body.
Right.
So then it's not only a machine, it's a machine that has a hand. And so over time, as it watches me apply the makeup with the exact tone that it just gave me, eventually it will learn and understand how to do it. Why would I do that and how do I prepare for that?
Right.
And why are you stressing us out?
Okay, so two things. One, we can't stop the AI race because we live in a capitalist society. I know that, again, I'm saying some hard things, but I want to be honest and frank. But let's go down memory lane. We have to go down memory lane because we're on this. I realize the track or trend we're on. So if I say to most of you right now, this is Jamaica, and a lot of times when we look on these ads in Jamaica, you see people with donkey, and you see people riding donkey in Jamaica? No. However, in the past, when automation and cars came out, what happened? All these stable boys who used to take care of the donkeys in Jamaica and the horses in Jamaica, what happened? They lost jobs. But when the car came, what did we need? Mechanics. That's what I need for you to understand the concept. So, no more stable boys, no more people riding donkeys and horses. We're now driving cars, and we need mechanics. So it's not
in the same way.
In the same way,
we will need.
That's what I'm saying. These AI roles now, that new roles. You mentioned about prompting. How many people ever thought about today there would be need for prompt engineers? 2 years ago, one of the top companies in the US, Anthropic, had a role, and it was some whole heap of money they were charging for someone to be a prompt engineer, and everybody was like, we don't even know what that is. Well, right now, because we're prompting AI, many people know what prompt engineering is. So
what you're suggesting, Dr. Campbell, is that the job that we will occupy in the next 5-10 years may not yet exist. But as the intelligence develops and we engage with it,
yes.
we can train ourselves to be prepared for the roles that will come.
Yes, and I'll make it even clearer, because sometimes when we talk about these things, it can sound so airy-fairy and, you know, like George Jetson and Tony Starks with Jarvis. All right, so let's go back 20 years now. 20 years ago, I was in high school, like I'm aging myself here. I'm in high school, 5th form, and they're talking about this thing called the World Wide Web. I don't know if you remember, it actually became public in 93, but I think in Jamaica, it was about 94 where the internet came about. Most people in Jamaica. Who would have known 20 years later we would have social influencers because of internet, web developers, web this, internet jobs, and Amazon and all of this remote work. We created a total ecosystem based on something which was introduced 20 years ago.
And so what you are saying is that we are on the cusp, at the beginning of the creation of a new paradigm, a new ecosystem where the best way to prepare is to engage and not to be afraid of AI. We've discussed in this conversation several iterations of artificial intelligence in different sectors, the careers that we will need to think about, some of which we cannot name, but the approach and the mentality we need to have in order to be able to embrace them when they do come up, how it will interfere, but also how we are still the in control of how we engage. There will be disruption. You started out very strong. There will be disruption, but it is disruption that we can maneuver for our own benefit. So we must not sit and throw up our hands.
Certainly not.
We must engage and understand the benefits with an open mind. Well, Dr. Campbell, thank you so much for joining us. That was so insightful, refreshing, troubling at times. At moments we struggled. But I think the perspective, the closing viewpoint is that it is a hopeful change. It's a lot of unknown, and so we should engage with it as experts. Thank you so much for joining us for season 3. We appreciate you stopping by. Let us know where we can find it to get more cool ideas about how we can use artificial intelligence. And he has a book about ChatGPT and 250 other AI applications.
Yes, I have the book right here.
Tell us where to find you.
Okay. Right. So you can certainly find me. My YouTube channel is AI in Every Sphere. I do have a book, Maximizing Technology, a guide to using ChatGPT and 250 other artificial intelligences. You can see it on Amazon, and I do have hard copies as well. And I do have a consulting firm, SKC Business Management Consultancy, where I do a lot of these AI presentations. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for watching. My name is Angelique Vertu. I'll see you next time.